Hey guys, wonderful day again today, and this video I'm discussing a very new business idea that I think more and more you see more and more the presence of this kind of business idea more and more beyond the top 30 cities in India. Now, there is one distinction I want to mention, which is there is the T30 cities in India and there's the B30 cities in India. And this is a distinction which I've noticed asset management companies usually mention in their guidance. So, what are the T30 cities in India? These are the top 30 cities in India, which of course you would know Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, to a certain extent Kochi. All these cities would be a part of the top 30 cities in India. And then beyond the top 30 cities in India are the B30 cities in India, which a lot of these companies that we know, especially the asset management companies, the banks and everything, they are extremely motivated to expand their operations and their work beyond the top 30 cities in India. That's why they're called the B30 cities in India. But in this video, I'd be discussing more on what, in my judgment, would be the next biggest business idea, which I think more and more quick commerce giants, namely Swiggy, Instamart, Blinkit, Zomato. Of course, Zomato and Blinkit will fall under the same parent company, which is Eternal right now. And then the third company, which is Zepto. And then soon enough, Flipkart Minutes have started their own operations within the quick commerce space. Now, one of the most important, one case study I just want to mention before I take this further is that I was living in a city in Bangalore, a smaller city within Bangalore called Tipsandra. And then each time I used to order something, I remember it used to come very quickly. And I think I used to really wonder why, ordering anything in Bangalore is much more convenient versus, ordering something in Delhi or somewhere in Hyderabad. Now, I think I dug a little deeper and I noticed that the presence of a dark store, which was just located about 5 minutes away, 5 minutes by walk, by what I mean. So the presence of a dark store just 5 minutes away from my apartment. Now, each smaller city within the bigger city of Bangalore had these, dark stores, presence of dark stores across the city, which really impressed me because that is the reason why there is, convenience of ordering and convenience of a consumer continuing to only order within quick commerce, which is Zepto, Blinkit, Instamart and everything, right? So if you notice user behavior of these quick commerce companies, there's a bit of a habit formation, which is by virtue of convenience of getting their provisions and groceries ordered in minutes, they only continue to order on these applications instead of, taking the effort themselves to go out and, getting these provisions by themselves over a vehicle or something. So if you notice, beyond using the B30 analogy, which I just began this video with, people located in the B30 cities are often the kind that would want to espouse and mimic and emulate the kind of behavior that is located in the top 30 cities in India. Like for someone located in Hyderabad, they would notice that people living in Warangal, which is just 200 kilometers, I don't know how many kilometers, I think it's about 4 or 5 hours away from Hyderabad, which is that people living in Warangal would want to emulate behavior of people living in Hyderabad. Why would I have to go very further to Warangal? I think people living in Secunderabad, which is where I'm from, is very much the case that they want to emulate certain kinds of behavior that people living in Hyderabad would depict. So if you notice, there's a bit of a, habit formation, habit espousing from people living in the top 30 cities to try to emulate those habits, emulate those behaviors, and thereby getting those kind of services even in their localities as well. And having said that, I think quick commerce is the one that's changing that behavior, which is the presence of dark stores, in my judgment, would begin to increase more in your localities if you're living in a tier 2 city. And these stores will begin increasing for a couple of reasons. Is because the order density has been already, it's increasing and it'll only increase more within the top 30 cities in India. But I think even beyond those cities, as I just mentioned, people espousing a certain kind of lifestyle, the disposable income in Indian households has increased in the last 5 to 6 years. And in my judgment, this kind of espousing and this kind of emulating of behaviors living in the cities is sort of extended into the tier 2 cities in India. And for that matter, these brands, these quick commerce brands, they want to scale not exactly just only within the top 5 or 6 cities, but beyond those cities as well. So this business idea, which is setting up a dark store, which is going to grow, in my opinion, in the next 5 to 6 years. And mark my words, people like Kirana stores will start having their own, warehouse extension, like their own, like Kirana stores would have their own, they'll have their own stop and their own setup, but they'll start extending that shop not just for their Kirana store movements, but actually towards dark store, which is that people ordering from Blinkit, Instamart, and Zepto will start coming to the Kirana store instead of instead of the people going to the Kirana store themselves. So that's where I think the next kind of business ideas will move towards, which is quick commerce tapping on dark stores within tier 2 cities in India. In the next couple of videos, I'll probably attempt in explaining the unit economics of how these dark stores operate and the profitability behind them. Until next time, thanks.